Hello again, this is Jose, and in this video I want to talk to you about a really good effective note-taking technique. It's called double entry journals. So the purpose of this is to do two things at once. One, record relevant quotes and information from something you're reading, and at the same time record the way your thoughts are developing on the topic as you read something. So it's a really helpful, efficient way to do research. Usually my suggestions for doing this is to do it on a Microsoft Word document, and I will show this as we go on through the video, or a Google document as well. And there's a couple ways to do this, but the way it works is on your left hand side you would get a source that you're reading for any essay. So let's speak generally. You're going to write an essay and you have to do outside research on your own. You have to read it and then you have to get some insights of that reading in order to form an opinion. So on the left hand side right here, you would just write down quotes, summaries, paraphrases, or information from the source that stands out to you, okay? And then on the right hand side, you would respond to the things that you're including in the form of detailed paragraphs. And this could be anything. It could be how the source inspires you to think about the topic, what is insightful in terms of that specific passage that you focused on, how does that passage relate to other sources that you're reading in order to form your opinion on your essay. And there are a few questions you can consider. So, how does this information relate to other sources that you've read? How does it relate to the topic that you are exploring in your own essay? But that's pretty much the gist of how it works. And I like to think of the process a little bit like watching tennis. So on the left-hand side, you're recording thoughts. On the right-hand side, you're responding to those things that you've recorded on the left-hand side. And then you go back and forth. Quote, response, and it just sort of gives a map of how your thoughts are developing as you relate to a topic. And there's a couple ways you can do this, and there's a lot of benefits to doing this. So here's the one way you can do this. You can create a table on Microsoft Word where you, on the left-hand side, share quotes from a source. And I always like to start off by including the works cited entry of a source and having it there. And then on the right-hand side, include your thoughts on that source. And then here's my quick and dirty trick to using these sources when it comes to writing an essay. So for example, here's another source. Here's another way of doing a double entry journal. So there's no one way to do a double entry journal. You just want to remember that you want to go back and forth with information that you get from your source and then responses to how your opinion is developing from responding directly to those things that you're recording. So just to give you an example of how this works and how it's a quick and efficient way to help you write an essay. So here is an example of a source that I found years ago for an essay that I wrote for a culinary arts class that I took. And the article is called What a Waste by Nancy McDonald. So as you can see, I started off with my works cited entry because I want to have that saved. That way when I write my essay, I don't need to go find the article again, I have it. So then I copied and pasted the article because it was kind of an online HTML thing. And so when I found a moment where I wanted to respond to something insightful in the quote, I would then write a bullet where I would just sort of write my thoughts out in terms of how I might use this in my essay, how it inspired me to think about the topic, and so on. So you see I do this a few times. Now I only share you the first page of how I analyze this source, but I want to show you how it works in an essay. So having that done, you can see that from here, these bullet notes that I have right here, these 3 bullet notes, how I would apply them in an essay that I wrote for the same class. So I've highlighted them in yellow so you can see right here. So the incident reported by Nancy McDonald in What a Waste shows how United Potato destroyed. And again, if I'm looking closely, the incident of how United Potato Growers of America destroyed. So again, I'm just literally taking my notes and putting them in the essay where I think they'll fit best in order to show readers how my thought process developed in order for me to form my opinion. And I think this is a really natural way to create an argument. It's an organic way to create an argument, and I encourage you all to use it for all of your writing. And also keep this in mind. This essay is 5 pages long, right? 5 full pages. To create my essay, I only looked at 2 sources. Now, I also looked at this source as well, but I only used it briefly. So really, I formed my argument by doing 2 double entry journals on these 2 sources. And I got a lot of mileage by doing this. So I recommend you do the same thing when it comes to writing your own essay. Okay, thank you. I hope this helps. I look forward to reading your double entry journals in terms of essay 2.